Heyo and welcome back to my channel. I kind of backed myself into a corner by starting this off with strained entrances because now I'm running out of ideas for ones to do. So I think I'm just going to start being boring now. But if I ever think of something interesting, I may surprise you in a future video. So you're welcome. When I woke up this morning, I had an unusual level of inspiration to try to be a human. So I actually brushed my hair today. So this is not a bedhead, but neither is it an octopus. So I say count your blessings and move on. And oh my goodness, I accidentally gave myself a really good segue there. Wow. To the uninformed viewer, it might actually seem like I put in a lot of effort to plan these things out beforehand, but I don't. But so yeah, speaking of moving on, I am kind of an adult now. It's a little weird because I'm not legally an adult. I'm still only 17. I'm recording this early because I'm practicing time management, but by the time this comes out, I will have finished my first week of work at an actual job. So yeah, I'm starting to feel like I'm an adult now because yeah, doing college, I have an actual job now. I feel like this is a big step into moving into the next phase of my life. So as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about, well, what are some things that I want to bring with me into my adult life? To give myself an actual goal, I decided to try to think of 17 things that I've learned over the past 17 years. So here we go. I'm gonna cheat. I'm cheating and looking at my phone because I have these things written down. Number 1 is work ethic and time management and scheduling, because when I was in high school, then I started becoming in charge of a lot more of my own schedule, and it was up to me to make sure that I got done the things that I needed to do when I needed to do them. And it would be my fault if I didn't meet the deadlines because my mom was not there sitting me down for school every day anymore. It was up to me to take care of myself. Dad would check in on us and keep track of what was going on and kind of keep us accountable, but for the most part we were supposed to learn to manage our own schedules. And so that was something that I learned, was taking responsibility for myself and my own education, which is something that has been and will be really valuable for me in trying to have good time management and scheduling and work ethic with doing college online now. And I already practiced that for the most part in high school, and so now being basically in charge of my own education for college isn't as daunting as it could have been. Number 2 is not to be a super picky eater and actually to really like vegetables. So I am super, super grateful for the way that my mom fed us when we grew up. We grew up eating healthier than I feel like a lot of people did. And so vegetables were a very common thing, and while I did not like them back then, I have grown to enjoy them a lot more, and I feel like it's because I'm just used to having them. That's a good life skill to have, is not being picky. I don't know how to... Don't be a picky eater. Well, yeah, while there's things that I still definitely don't particularly enjoy, having my mom discipline me as a child for being a picky eater and making me eat things that I didn't like has helped me to, in the future, even if there's something I don't really like, I'm gonna eat it anyway if I have to, and not complain. The third thing that I learned is that friendships take effort, and for me, I had an older sister, Esther, and we did everything together. We were best friends, we still are, but I kind of leached off of her social skills a lot, and so she would make all my friends for me basically. But mainly the thing that contributed to this strange mindset is I'm an introvert, and so I just didn't want to put in the effort for friendships. I just assumed all my friendships would come to me because either I could follow Esther around and make friends vicariously through her, or two, if someone wanted to be friends with me, they should just come to me. However, I have learned that that's not the case, and friendships are supposed to be both parties are supposed to be contributing, for sure. And that was something that I did not do well in my younger years, and something that I want to do better in my future years, of realizing friendship takes effort, and I want to be willing to put myself out there and step out there because I'm going to have to give something if I'm expecting to get something in return. I cannot expect all of these amazing friendships to just fall into my lap and me not have to work anything for them. Nice singing. Becca! Yeah? I'm recording! Stop singing! It's lovely, but stop. So yeah, I feel like there's a saying somewhere, I don't know exactly how it goes, but anything worthwhile in life involves effort. And that's really true of friendships. I can't just put everything on the other person. I'm going to have to take some of the initiative, and I'm going to have to put myself into this also if I'm expecting them to. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. And a man who would have friends must first show himself friendly. That's in Proverbs somewhere. Okay. Number 4, which kind of goes along with this, is also the realization that I'm not going to get along with everyone. This is something that I learned when I was maybe 8. I lived in a different country for a while, and there were other there were other foreign kids there, like foreigners, like Americans, there, and so we all kind of like had that commonality and were expected to band together because of that. And while at that stage, like, you don't really care too much who you're playing with, as long as there's a game that you're both involved in. You don't really care too much about their personality or anything, as long as you can work together toward this common goal of having fun. And so while that was my mindset back then, there were still a few people that I just did not click with, and I didn't really understand why or really recognize that. I was just like, they're a nice person, but like, we don't super get along, and that frustrated me a little bit back then. But now I'm realizing that, like, however nice people are, sometimes there are people that you just are not going to click with, and so you don't have to put in a ton of effort and feel like you have to be best friends with everyone that you meet. There are people that, yeah, I just don't really connect with as much as I respect them as a person, and so I'm going to definitely be civil to them and definitely talking to them, but not feel like I have to make a lot more of the friendship than there really is potential for, and to be okay with, like, having these people that, yeah, I'm not ever going to end up getting really close with, and that's okay. God's going to provide close friends for them, God's going to provide close friends for me, and we can be nice to each other, but I don't have to put the pressure on myself to, like, stress myself out working for something that isn't really going to work out. Number 5, I learned the value of labor. My mom, I'm just going to say this, my mom ripped me off as a child. Oh my goodness. Okay, we have these trees that, like, drop these big black walnuts. We could pick up 5 of those and dump them into our empty cistern for 1 cent. And that was how we earned money as a child. And also, then whatever you made, you had to tithe. And so if you wanted to earn $1, well, you had to pick up 500 of those walnuts and dump them down the cistern, and then guess what? You only actually made 90 cents, because then you have to give 10 cents of tithe. So I didn't have a lot of money as a child, and when I grew up and I realized, wow, people are willing to pay you like $15 an hour to do work for them? What? This is unheard of. I feel like I'm taking advantage of them. When no, really the truth is my mom was taking advantage of me. Thanks, Mom, I still love you. The 6th thing that I learned is that while all work and no play may be unhealthy, all play and no work is also really unhealthy. I grew more conscious of this as I got older, and everyone's trying to interrupt me. I realized this more as I got older, especially like by the end of summer vacation. I found myself actually looking forward to school and having a schedule and having these responsibilities that I have to complete every day before I can have my free time. Because, yeah, too much time on my hands, and, like, I get stressed out and really bored and really restless and antsy. So, yeah, I honestly enjoy feeling productive, having things that I need to accomplish, because then the free time is a lot more rewarding. And now the phone is ringing. Number 7, I learned to respect a lot of different kinds of people, because there were 2 parents and 9 children in my family, and guess what? We all have a very different personality, and all of us have different likes and dislikes, and so all of us living together was honestly like a really good life experience for me, because these are my family members. So I honestly, growing up, just didn't really question it. I just learned, without even thinking about it, how to get along with a lot of different types of people, and I feel like that's going to prepare me really well for life outside the house, as I'm encountering a lot of different personalities, people that I may not otherwise really click with, and yet I have learned a lot about getting along with so many different kinds of people. And so, yeah, I feel like that's a really good life skill that I am now equipped with because of that. So marriage feelings are really good. Number 8, I have simply learned over the years, as expected, a lot about my own personality and my likes and dislikes. In particular, I learned simply to try new things. There were times when I was forced to do something that I didn't necessarily want to do, and yet afterwards I realized that was a good experience. I actually enjoy this, and after I stopped having been forced to have to do it, then I decided to make my own decision on my own and be like, yeah, I want to be doing this. So for example, it was mandatory in my family that when you were maybe 8, 6, I don't know, my dad started teaching you piano lessons, and you took them until you were 13, and then you could quit, pick up a different instrument, or start paying for a different teacher to come and give you lessons and get more advanced. And so through that being a mandatory thing, I discovered I really like music, and from that I've been blessed a lot with a lot of creativity in musical area and songwriting and taking out different instruments and stuff. So I don't think I would have really discovered that passion of mine if my dad hadn't forced me to take piano lessons when I was 6. Or for example, when I lived in a different country, one of the dads set up soccer lessons for all of us missionary kids, and we would all go play that, and it was kind of mandatory, and I did not like it because I was shy and hated having to have the ball and everyone stare at me. But through playing that, I feel like that was a really good experience with being on a team and just having to do something that I didn't really like. And now, while I still don't really like playing soccer, I really like watching it, and I have a lot of respect for the game. I used to think that I did not like algebra, and then I had to take geometry, and I realized, you know what, I like algebra. And so coming back to it, after I took geometry, then I got to take algebra 2 and advanced mathematics, and I was like, honestly, I really enjoy this because I had the contrast of having to do something that I actually didn't like. So through that, I learned that something that I thought I disliked, guess what, it's actually not that bad, and I actually like it. And I've just learned other things, like that now I like vegetables, or that I really like dancing even though I'm terrible at it, and so I have dance parties with myself when no one else is watching because I really enjoy it and it makes me really happy, even though, yeah, I'm not very good at it. Esther used to take cold showers and love exercising, and I was like, you're crazy. And then I tried it, and I'm like, I found this exercise program that I really enjoy, and I tried a cold shower, and honestly now I really enjoy them. So there are the things that I forced myself to try, and a lot of them I ended up realizing, you know what, this is actually pretty fun. And so to not turn down every single opportunity that comes just because right off the bat I think I'm not going to enjoy it. Number 9, that serving others actually blesses me. This is a tip that I also learned from Esther, and she says when she was not feeling very happy herself, then she would go and try to make someone else happy, and that generally cheered her up. And I started trying that, and I was like, you know what, this is so true. Like, putting in the effort to do something nice for someone else actually would lift my mood and make me feel happier. Kind of sounds like selfish motives, and maybe it is, but it works. So let's see, number 10, my poor old introverted self, I would just like to speak to the younger Coriel and say, people are not scary. It's okay. See, because my entire life, I was really scared of people. I did not like the thought of them judging me and talking about me behind my back, and I don't know, just very, very concerned with what other people thought of me. And as I grew older and got more self-aware, I realized, you know what? This is stupid. We're all scared of each other. They're scared of me. And so that encouraged me to step out a lot more and be a bit more bold and reach out to people, because realizing, wow, if I'm feeling this way, they're probably feeling this way too, and we should just get that out of the way and be friends. Talk to them, Coriel. Just talk to them. It's okay. They're not going to eat you. Unless they're a cannibal, but I haven't met any of those yet, so. Number 11, which is also something I would tell to my younger introverted self, is you need people, contrary to your own opinion. It is not good for man to be alone, I promise. You will realize someday that people are a blessing, and you don't always want to say no to all of those friendships and all of those opportunities that God gives you, because someday, if you said no to all of them, you're going to wake up when you're older and realize, wait, I have no friends, I have no life, where are they? Please come back to me. I didn't mean that when I ignored you a lot of years ago and refused to come to every single social event that was offered to me. Now it's too late. Yeah, don't let it be too late. Say yes to things. Number 12, I learned as I got older that my parents have reasons for the things that they do, and they're actually pretty smart, and as I got older, I realized that. I realized they actually knew how to take care of me. They had a lot more wisdom than I, as a young child, with my own mindset, did. They had a lot broader of a perspective than I did, and so I realized as I got older, all of those things that I said, that I thought in the moment, I was like, well, I'm never going to do that to my kids. I'm realizing actually a lot of this I'm probably going to do to my kids, and hopefully someday they'll understand too. Number 13, I also realized as I got older that my parents are actual people with their own personalities, their own joys, their own struggles. They have feelings. And so as I'm getting older, learning to turn the relationship more into like a friendship and discover a lot more about the kinds of people that they are and what they like, what they don't like, instead of seeing them as just these people that are there to feed me and tell me yes or no and spank me when I disobey them. So, good memories. Number 14, I learned not to take for granted how convenient cars are, because yes, when I lived in this other country, we had to walk basically everywhere, and you realize how far a couple of miles actually is and how long it takes you on foot, when in a car it would take you like 2 minutes. Yeah, when I got home, I was so thankful for the car. I was just like, oh my goodness, what a blessing. Thank you, Jesus. I was a lazy person, but honestly, yeah, getting to appreciate this modern convenience that we have. Number 15, I learned to always take the stairs. Always, 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 always. If you're going down, because it is so fun. Because again, living in that other country, we were on the 14th story of an apartment building, and instead of taking the elevator down, we would race each other down the stairs. And so I learned a love for running downstairs, and got really fast at it, and it's so much fun. So I highly recommend it. So now whenever there are stairs down, I always take the stairs. Always. It's so worth it. Now if the stairs going up, it's a little more iffy. I hated when we decided not to take the elevator and we decided to race each other up all 14 stories of the apartment building because I always lost. That was a little too much work. But going downstairs is so much fun. Number 16, I have learned that a relationship with God is meant to be a personal, intimate adventure, honestly. Christianity is something that I've always grown up with, and yet then learning to take it and make it my own has been really interesting, and also learning the truth that it is an adventure that God calls us to. It is supposed to change our lives and make it more exciting and bring us so much more beauty into our lives instead of just being these set of rules that now we have to follow if we want to be happy after we die. Mainly learned a lot about that from a lot of John Eldredge's books, and so I would recommend reading them if you haven't because they're really good, and yeah, they help you realize how much beauty and wonder and adventure there is meant to be in the Christian walk, and that this is supposed to be such a good, exciting thing. It's not supposed to be bland cardboard cutout of rules. No, it's supposed to be so full of color in life. And number 17, last thing, we forget what childhood really was like. So I learned as I get older, our memories have a way of tricking us. And so when I'm an adult, I'm probably going to look back and be like, oh my goodness, my childhood was so perfect. I already find myself doing that, being like, oh my goodness, I wish I could go back. And yet, I want to remember that when I was a child, I had problems too. I had struggles. Yes, now they seem really pathetic. Now I would take those over my adult problems. And yet, at the time, they were a huge thing for me. God knows what He's doing. He's bringing us through the different seasons of our lives. He's giving us trials back then to grow us for the trials that He's going to have for us in the future. Like these things that I'm going to face in the future, like, could not have handled them back then. I had to start small. And those small things were big to me back then. Whereas now these big things are going to be really big to me right now. And in the future, I'm going to look back on these things in the middle and be like, oh, that's nothing. So, I don't know, like, God knows what we need, and He's growing us and strengthening us to be able to overcome all of the hardships and trials that we're going to have in our lives, but that are going to keep drawing us deeper and deeper and deeper into Him. And so, honestly, like, as the obstacles enlarge, then the victories are so much sweeter, and the more solid our relationship with Him becomes. I trust that God moves me through the different seasons of my life at the right time. And so maybe if I don't think, I'm like, oh, but it was good there, I'm not ready to leave yet. Well, if He calls me forward, I'm going to trust that that was the right thing. God knows what He's doing with my life. And so I want to follow Him forward instead of being like, no, God, you go on ahead, I'm going back. It was better back there. Because that reminds me of the Israelites. Oh my goodness, those people were such a forgetful people. They kept forgetting how hard things were, and they kept being like, oh God, if only we'd gone back to Egypt. We had melons and cucumbers and bread then. All we did was sit around and eat. Did they not remember? They were slaves there. There were bad things happening. They were crying out to God for deliverance. And now a little bit later, like, oh God, we never asked to leave. Why did you take us away? They literally said that. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. I want to be grateful for the good, but also remember, yes, there were problems back then. And be excited, honestly, for the new things that God has for me. Be ready to move on. He was trying to lead them into this land of milk and honey, this thing that He knew was going to be so good, and all they wanted to do was go back. And as a result of that constant looking backward, constant being like, no, God, take me back. It was way better back in slavery. Some of them didn't get to the promised land. God was like, okay, fine, you've complained enough. You don't even get this good thing that I had for you anymore. And so instead of being like that, I want to be like, yes, God, take me deeper into You. I want to follow You. I want to go with You wherever You're taking me, and take me always further up and further in. Don't ever take me back. Future Coriel, remember that childhood was not as great as you remembered it. This is what you probably thought it was like.
Let go, 'cause it's all alright. I'm on top of the world tonight.
And this is a lot more what it was actually like. Talitha, you are wearing my shirt. I keep telling you over and over that these are my clothes, and all of my sisters keep stealing them, and I don't like it. I want to wear my own clothes. You have your own clothes. Stop stealing mine.
I don't like any of my own clothes, though. You
I know, but I
have
have to. Mom makes me pay for my own clothes, and then it's not fair if you're the one that gets to wear them. Just wear a blanket. I don't care.
Coriel, this mess are here.
I know.
Mom told you you had to come down.
No, there's people.
You have to talk to them.
No, there's no, not humans. Get away from me. No. I hate school. She's so mean to me. He took my heart and broke it. And I can't even drown my sorrows in ice cream because my mom won't ever buy sugar. So yeah, those are the 17 things that I have learned in my childhood. And as I'm stepping a little bit further into the adult life, I hope that I can carry these life lessons with me. This is a time of change, but it's really exciting, and I'm really excited to see the kind of person that God's gonna make me and the kind of adult that I'm going to be, and I hope that I'll remember these lessons that I learned when I was younger and that they will build a better character in me. So there you go, that's my little bits of wisdom. So yeah, thank you for watching, and goodbye until more interesting things happen.